So I'm going to pull back. We still had the infuriate. Look at those huge numbers. I believe that's going to be around 150,000. Hey, welcome back to the channel. All right, it is time to talk about Hercules. We've had him for a few days thanks to the content creator program. You can see that there. I had a few days to test him out. The game has been a little wonky, which made testing him a little frustrating for a couple of reasons. One is it was frustrating. Two, he is insanely fun. I think that is the most accurate way to describe this guy. He is absolutely extremely well made, not only from the flow of his abilities to his animations, and he can do significant damage. In this video, we are going to look at him as a rank 5-star with no signature ability. I have done a separate video. I will do my best to link that in the description and at the end of this one, of a 6-star rank 3 SIG 200 running the recoil tree. I do believe that's the best way to play him, is with the recoil tree, and soloing Abyss Iron Man Infinity War with only one synergy, and that's with Captain America Infinity War. It is extremely impressive, and that's made me really think I do want to go ahead and try to get that 6-star. But here's the thing, those are really difficult to get, and it may take a long time to get there. In the meantime, the 5-stars are quite a bit more accessible. So I wanted to show, what does that look like? What if you pull the 5-star, what can you expect? What are the kinds of things that I'm seeing that I think he might be usable for? So we're going to look at quite a few fights here. We're going to show his ramp up, how he works, and then take him through a couple of things where I think he can shine. And then I definitely want to point out where I think he can't. The hype on this guy is going to be huge. And I think it's important that we also show what he can't do. If you're enjoying the content, please remember to hit like, definitely consider subscribing, hitting that notification so you can catch the content. It's not always easy, right, with the way YouTube works. I would really appreciate it. And then at the end of this video, if you could, let me know what you think of Hercules, but also what you think of the format I've chosen. This is the first time I'm doing the early reviews for the content creators here, and I'm always open to feedback. All right, let's jump into it. That was a lot of talking to get going. This is Act 6.4.1, and I wanted to show his initial ramp because I know that we're aware that he's got these feats of strength, and that's in the upper left-hand corner. He does have the persistent charges. You see there's blue, and you can get 3 of those, right? Which will allow you to start with 3 feats of strength at the start of the fight. The third one is a little tricky to trigger. It's usually more of a defensive thing, but I am able to pull it off in this video. So you can do these feats of strength by striking a non-stunned opponent with a hit of a heavy attack. He does have a really nice elongated heavy. It's not hard to pull this off. You can parry stun the opponent. If you really want to get fancy, you can try to land that first hit while they're just coming out of the parry, and then you're going to get 2 feats of strength from 2 of those hits. It's a bit much for my taste, at least right off the bat after just not too long to play him. But you can time it so the first one lands while they're still stunned, and then the second one will be as they're coming out of it. Here's the second one, is intercepting a dashing opponent with any attack. It's really not that hard to do with him, especially with his Infuriate debuff. And then here's the third one, is you're going to stand up after being knocked down. Well, the cool thing is when he throws his SP3, he's going to get this indestructible. You see that? And then you want to push the defender to their SP3. They'll throw it, which will knock you down. You'll stand up. You now have your 3 persistent charges, which allows him to just start each fight on the quest with those 3 feats of strength. I will say this though, and you're going to see this throughout this video, and when you watch the Iron Man Infinity War solo, you're going to see getting him to those 12 feats of strength doesn't take that long. In fact, I don't know if this guy needs it depending on the fight, right? So there we go. We've got that going. And so I wanted to talk about his feats of strength. And then in the second fight, we're going to see it's the next fight on this lane. I believe it's a Venom the Duck. You're going to see him start with the 3 persistent charges, and we'll talk a little bit more about his special 1 and special 2 and what those do. All right, so he's a ton of fun. Here we go. We're moving on to Venom the Duck here, and you can see because we have the 3 persistent charges, we're starting off with them. So there's the intercept right there. He's got a beautiful intercept. It just works. I don't know how to explain it, but they did an amazing job from the graphics department and the design, and obviously who designed the champion himself. The flow on this guy is incredible, and for me, that's how the abilities work together. You see the easy ability to intercept. So I should bait the SP1 here and then try to get the true sense and the precision off the SP1. There you go. We got it through an intercept, so we have the 3 precisions there. We're now going to work to our SP2. All this time though, remember, all these intercepts and things like that in the heavies, they're also building our feats of strength, which is increasing our armor penetration by 100, basically 187, and causing all our damage attacks to also deal a burst of physical damage. Those are the red numbers you're seeing. Like, look how much damage a standard combo is doing on this guy. So there we go. We got the intercept, and that's kind of what I'm talking about, guys. Is the infuriate debuff is extremely helpful. I never had it fail in all my testing. I never had it fail. I never had it fail to cause the defender to come and rush in. My specials were just really smooth and easy to land and intercept with. We will go over the synergies here in a little bit. You'll see that there's a synergy that could help out with that, but I never had that fail. I never had it fail, so I don't know if you need it. You saw how much damage he could do. That is Act 6. That's Act 6.4. This is a rank 5 5-star Sig 0, not even awakened. All right, so let's jump in. Let's check a little bit more with this guy. He's just fun. I use this line. People liked it. I think it's true. I mean, he looks like a guy who makes dad jokes before he was even a dad, right? Like, it just, there's a corniness to him and a self-awareness to the ridiculousness I just love. All right, now here's some of the utility that he has. I don't feel like he has a ton of it, but when you have this much damage, sometimes you don't need a lot of utility, right? But here he does. He can go stun immune when he has a feat of strength. He's going to use that feat of strength, but they're not that hard to pick up. When I first read his ability, I was like, yeah, but you got to use a feat of strength in order to go stun immune. Well, I did not really think about how easily picked up they were going to be. And then here's the negative though, and I do want everyone to see this. Look at what Biohazard does to him. And I think this is important because sometimes people see that, he works really well with the recoil tree, right? With the dual edge and bleeding liquid or whatever they're called, right? So he has these blessings. They reduce the potency of incoming bleed effects by 50%. And then he is reducing the potency of incoming poisons by 15%. But watch what happens. Watch what happens to his health bar as we actually start to get a few bleeds on us. He's already gone. He's no longer healing. He was healing when it was just the poison and the bleed from the recoil tree, but now he's going down. Some of this is a little bit of that may have been Omega Red, but he is going down, and I think that's important to keep in mind. This is not a dual immune champion. This is a resistance one, and the way his resistance are, any additional debuffs really going to cause a problem for you. That being said, look at this guy's damage, right? As you can see, we're building up our feats of strength. We started off with the 9 there, so we're doing well. We started off with a nice amount here. Intercept with the SP2, and this fight is done. We intercept the SP1, intercept the SP2, the fight is over. But now he's got to take another biohazard fight, and he's not going to be healing. He's not going to be healing. So keep that in mind, guys. That's really important. Here we go. Now, here's what I want to show you is this is why I think the awakened ability is extremely important. I had the 6-star awakened on the server. I wanted to leave the 5-star unawakened so I could test that out for you all, and so I could show you what that's like. Now, you may have seen this fight in the Iron Man Infinity War fight, and I apologize if you did. Please skip forward. I intend to try to put it a few timestamps, so you can go ahead and skip forward if you'd like to. It'll be in the description. I wanted to show what it's like when he's getting these debuffs, but I wanted to show you how his signature ability, I think, really opens him up, really unlocks him. I don't think it's something that, unless you're just trying to win one fight, like maybe it's Alliance War, or maybe it's like, Abyss, or Summer of Pain, like we're seeing like that, where it's just a single fight type content. I don't think it's something you necessarily go into the fight knowing you're going to utilize. Could be maybe a little bit like Nick Fury, where you're like, okay, well, if I have to go into a second life, that's fine. But eventually here, you're going to see I'm going to let myself kind of get hit. You see I'm kind of flailing about because I want to get my health down. Invisible Woman was the fight wasn't working out well for what I was trying to show, but it eventually will. So there we go. So we've got the poisons on us. We missed up an intercept, like whatever. Okay, we did this intentionally because we're trying to get hit here a little bit. And Invisible Woman just wasn't doing her job, but we're eventually going to get hit. She's going to otherwise bring our health bar down to 0, but the immortality will kick in. Now, the immortality can actually, it can last, I think it's for 9 seconds. Let's make sure we get this correct here. Yeah, it goes all the way up to 9 seconds, but you can actually pause it with your basic attacks and your special attacks. And people are reporting keeping it up for an extremely long time. All right, so here we go. She triggers it. We've gone immortal. We're also unblockable. So this is potent. This is potent. Could be a problem when you're fighting him on defense, right? And so it keeps him alive, which is really cool. And that's what I'm talking about for that one fight content. Here's the negative to it, though. We're moving on to the next fight in this lane. Still biohazard, right? That's the way this game tends to work. The nodes don't just change. The lane is the same way. And now he's not going to heal. I mean, very, very little. Very, very, very little. And you're going to see one parry is going to get us right back down. There we go. And so now the immortality is going to trigger. Now we've got to end this fight in here. And I'm not able to get it done. I'm not able to get it done. All right, so here we are against Abyss of Legends. You know, if you really want to see the huge damage showcase and just like what is possible with this guy, check out the other video. I'm going to do my best to link it at the end of this video, but it will definitely be in the description regardless. I really advise checking them both out. And please do let me know how you feel about this format. I feel like if I put them together, I know what it's like as a viewer. I know what sticks with folks, right? And I felt like if I combined them, it'd be really easy to just remember the Iron Man Infinity War video. So I did want to separate them out, but if it didn't play out that way, you let me know. So here you go. You're going to see this is with 0 feats of strength, just going in. I did use the White Magneto pre-fight just so we could land our parries and have them stick. You're going to see how easy it is to get his, see, there we go. We've got an intercept. He's now up to 2 feats of strength. We missed one there, but I didn't, that's just my fault. I just didn't play that well. That's no problem of Hercules here. I'm going to be going to the SP3. You're going to see that get charged. I just kind of wanted to show that off. In a fight like this, I don't really think there's a reason to do that unless I just really wanted it to carry over into the next fight. But again, it's just one. It's not that hard, especially with the ability to parry and heavy. So here's my final thoughts on Hercules. I really like him. He is an absolute blast to play. He is up there for me on the immediate just flow of the champion. You get him, you read his abilities, and yeah, sure, there's some nuance. I'm sure there's some nuance that I don't even totally have yet, just by playing him quite a bit the last few days. But I think you get him and you start playing with him and you start to get it. You start to get it. It really makes sense. You know, you do the SP1, you trigger the Infuriate, so you can intercept with the SP1. By the time you build to the SP2, your Infuriate's probably back up, so you're able to intercept with that. You're now doing massive damage. The SP2 stuns, maybe you've got him in the corner, you're heavy, you got big red numbers, big yellow numbers. It is just an absolute blast. But he really doesn't have any immunities. He needs power to get his damage. He doesn't apply a debuff, so nodes like polka dot power and things like that aren't going to help him out. He, do you bleed, poison nodes? He's just not going to be able to do that. So I think for me, he's a champion where he's supposed to work, he is going to be incredible. Where he's not supposed to work, you're not going to be able to figure out a way to very much the square peg, round hole analogy, I think fits here. The cool thing is this is an insanely cool square peg. He's an absolute blast. The reach is fantastic. He's well made. The animations are fun. Intercepting with him just works, as you see right here. I mean, look at this. This is that was pretty impressive. Let's see what this SP2 does. I want to point this out. Let's see. We've got the 4 precisions here. I wonder if we're going to get this off with all 4 of them. I think we might. I'm trying to get Star-Lord to throw his SP2 there. So I'm going to pull back. We still have the Infuriate. Look at those huge numbers. I believe that's going to be around 150,000. And then I was still getting used to him at this time, so I didn't go straight in for those heavy hits there, right? But look at these. Look at the combo. So if that's appeals to you, if that looks like fun, he is the guy for you. Just keep in mind what he can do and what he can't do. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the synergies, and thank you so much for watching. All right, let's talk about his synergies. I will start off by saying, I don't think any of these are ones that you're gonna feel like you have to bring along on your generic quest. There's this one that he has with himself, in essence, for hero champions. They do need to be under the effect of the poison, though. So it doesn't seem like it's gonna be helping out champions who are actually immune to poison, so just keep that in mind. This arm wrestling club with the Thors here, I think you're using that where what came in for me was if I ended up getting post the immortality phase. The thing is, if I was post immortality phase, other things had gone wrong. A lot of things had gone wrong to get to that point. I don't see myself bringing along the Thors for that, at least not in anything I encountered right now in this initial testing. Armor up. Okay, it is what it is. This is some quality champions there, especially with Falcon and Wasp. This one you saw me use. You saw me use it in the Iron Man Infinity War video. Hopefully you've checked that out, the Abyss solo of Iron Man Infinity War. I really enjoyed that. It's part of what's going to make me give a good attempt here to try to get Hercules here the day he comes out. In his kit though, he does have some benefits against going up against champs with an armor up. I really think that's going to probably outweigh this. This is not a synergy that you're just going to want to bring along just for kicks and giggles. I think you're going to do this because you either really want to bring along Captain America Infinity War, who's obviously an excellent champion, or you need an armor break, which you saw me really utilize there in the Abyss solo there. So that's how I feel about that one. I do think that one's going to be worthwhile, though. I could see there being uses that, like maybe you're fighting an Emma or something like that. So, all right, this incredible substitute with the Hulks. If you're a Hulk Immortal fan, I think I could see this. For Hercules, starting with +3, it's really nice. It really, truly is. And maybe there's something like with debuffs where you want to get into your damage even faster. But as you saw from these videos, getting into completing those feats is, you can do it. You're going to be able to do it. You play with them, you get used to it, and they just start building up. So I think this is going to be very situational. And I think in a lot of ways, this will probably be because you wanted to bring along those other champions more than you felt like Hercules really needed it. Masterful combat, I kind of feel similarly with this too. This would be nice, right? Having those specials be unblockable will make you feel a lot more safe that you're going to land those intercepts. But you saw me, I did not have this synergy, and you saw how well I was able to land it. I think there was maybe 1 or 2 mistakes, but the game's been really wonky the last few days, and this is just initially playing him. And I did the whole Iron Man Infinity War solo without the synergy and had no problems whatsoever. And we've talked about this. I think his Hercules is incredibly well built, not only from the flow of his abilities to his animations themselves, intercepting. It just works with this guy, the way he is built and the way his hit mechanics and things like that, and his reach. Pawn set free. Again, I think this is kind of like, this is a nice to have. But you saw this, especially in the Iron Man Infinity War, and that's a longer fight. That's why I keep referencing it, is that it's a longer fight. And you saw that there really weren't times where I wanted to trigger this Infuriate and it was on cooldown. It just was there. That's what I'm talking about with the flow of this champion. The flow is very, very good. You play them and the abilities just kind of come up, and they work that way. It's very, very well-made champion. Very, very well-made champion. And then this romance with Wolverine. Wolverine obviously can be really fun to bring along, especially if you have as a horseman. And power gain. Power gain would help. That'll help you cycle through those specials even faster, and that is a critical part to Hercules. So that there's a benefit there. I could see that being helpful. But again, you didn't see me use any of these except for the Cap Infinity War, and the guy is impressive, and I don't feel like any of these is going to allow him to do something he otherwise could not have. At least nothing that I was able to find in the limited amount of time we had to test him. And then it's not a synergy with him, but obviously Odin. Odin could help him out with those pre-fights, in particular with the resistance, and then the powering up of Hercules' own stats, right? That could add a nice resistance to him. We covered the dangers with him on Biohazard, though. But if you're going to, I believe it is Shock or something like that, this could be really helpful. This could be really helpful. So that is something to consider. I hope you either learned something, were entertained, or even better, a little bit of both. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.